Hello everybody and welcome. This is Adrian. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's going to be time for some Victoria 2 in our HFM tutorial campaign for Victoria 2 as the Empire of Brazil. Last we left off, we've just defeated the Rio Grande do Sul. We are now training up a few troops for our army, and we are also still encouraging bureaucrats. So we're going to go up to speed 5. We're going to be at peace for a little while. I think we're going to go up to speed 5, and there's a few things we can do during peacetime. One of them is encourage bureaucrats, clergy, things of that sort. Another thing is that we can upgrade all of our naval bases. As you can see here, I can click on the naval map mode. I can come over here to, say, province of Pelotas, and I can upgrade the naval base that we have here. Our naval base will increase our colonial range, as well as our local shipbuilding time. We'd expand it. The thing is, it's expensive. You need a lot of money to expand naval bases. Also a lot of money to build forts, which we have none. We don't have any money right now. So let's come over here to our budget. We're going to go ahead and lower the military maintenance. We're going to increase our tariffs. And we're going to increase education efficiency to 100%. This is going to reduce our military costs. Military, as I mentioned in the first episode, by far is your most expensive cost of any, really, in the game. Just military goods are super expensive. So we're going to lower our military maintenance for now. It's going to reduce the maintenance of our armies, but since we're not going to war, that money could be better spent elsewhere. We're going to raise the tariffs because that makes us quite a bit of money at 100%. It's going to hurt artisans a bit, but we don't have any factories, so it's a cost that I'm willing to pay. And then we need more clergy, so we're going to go and increase our education efficiency to 200%. So let's go on speed 4 for just a bit. Let's make some money. Interesting. Let's see, what is costing us money? Small arms? We're spending a lot of money on constructions right now. Oh, I know why. Okay, so this is all part of the economic simulation. So we do not produce small arms in our country, right? We don't produce small arms, nor do we produce canned food. So because of our tariffs that we just raised, basically, we're spending a lot of money that we don't need to on the construction of our military forces. So let's lower the tariffs for a second before we're not constructing anything. Let's see, War of the Farrapos. Porto Alegre is under Brazilian control once again. The Guachos, however, were promised to continue their rebellion against once they consider unfair rule from the throne. It may prove difficult in the coming years to keep the region calm. So it looks like in the Rio Grande do Sul, we're going to have nationalist agitation. Unfortunate. There we go. Now our military is a little less expensive. Once we're done with our constructions, it looks like we're just buying up canned food right now. Once we're done with our constructions, Peru, Bolivia wants military access. I'm going to go in decline. Once we're done with our constructions, we will raise the tariffs back up so we can make some money. As you can see, the artisans, they're not doing too well. Some artisans are doing very well. Here we go. Also, increasing your educational budget is quite expensive. It is an expense worth, at least in my opinion, it's worth paying just because you need literacy to increase. Once we have our administrative efficiency up everywhere, we're going to focus almost exclusively on education. Let's take a quick look at our revolt risk and see if there are any rebel movements. As you guys can see here in the Rio Grande do Sul, there's quite a bit of militancy here. I can go ahead and select this button and I can see what types of rebels there are. Right now we have a movement of Brazilian reactionaries. So they want to go from a constitutional monarchy to an absolutist aristocratic system. There aren't that many of them right now, but if we piss people off enough, there may be quite a bit of reactionaries. This is an overall indicator of your militancy, and our militancy is increasing quite quickly. So you never know what could happen. You always want to keep an eye on these revolutionary movements. We could lower the tariffs. We could lower the tariffs to make people less mad. We can actually come over here to our population. Let's go to the Empire of Brazil. We can actually filter through all of our pops, and we can take a look who is most angry. So let's come over here to militancy. Let's click on this button. Let's find out who's mad. A lot of artisans, as you can see, because we raised the tariffs. really, 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 really high. A lot of these tariffs are making these artisans angry, as well as farmers, right? Farmers, because of high tariffs, they can't buy many goods, so they're kind of mad. A lot of them are also just kind of pissed off because of the nationalist agitation. As you can see here, we got monthly change, we have war exhaustion is making people angry, life needs not fulfilled makes people upset, nationalist agitation is a big deal. Some of them also desire things like reform desire. So it'd probably be a good chance to say that if I was to reduce the tariffs on most things, we probably wouldn't have as much agitation. So we can actually take a look. As soon as we reduce the tariffs, you can actually see that our militancy does not increase as quickly. So maybe it's actually worth it to not have tariffs on right now. Okay. Yep, our militancy, the rate at which our militancy is increasing is decreasing right now. So people are still getting mad, but they're getting mad less quickly. Which is, I think, a cost I'm willing to pay. That's fine. Let's actually go ahead and move some troops back to Rio de Janeiro. And let's keep a few troops in Sao Paulo. Let's see. Uruguay must have had some sort of revolution. Let's see. Everybody's still moving to Colombia, Mexico, and the United States. People are moving to Brazil, the Empire of Brazil. The thing is, though, is we have slavery, and slavery is usually never good for immigrant attraction. In fact, having slavery allowed is just pretty bad. It's just, you know, immigrants are just less likely to choose slave states. It's just kind of what it is. Let's actually see how many slaves do we have in the Empire of Brazil. We have 500,000, which is actually a lot. 28.2% of our 28.2% of our adult male population is slaves. Actually, it's quite a bit. There's a lot of people. It looks like, what's going on here? So it looks like Argentina won their war against Bolivia. And it also looks like Corrientes has tried to break away from the Argentine Confederation. Yeah. Interesting. Cool. I wonder what will happen. Who knows? Let's see. No military access. So we have a Mexican thaw. The dictatorship is not what it used to be. Increased pluralism combined with extended political reforms have led to a dictatorship more and more taking on the trappings of a democracy. So Mexico just turned into a democratic state. So they're going to get even more immigrants now. Crazy. Let's go up to speed 5, just because we're going to be waiting a little while. We're just kind of going to be at peace for a bit. We're making a little bit of money. We're still working on bureaucrats. Slowly but surely we're working on bureaucrats. Let's take a look real quick at this rebel movement. We have some Jacobin rebels, people who want to move to a democracy. Or I guess you would say a republican state. Right now we have the ascension of Queen Victoria. Today in the year of our Lord 1838, William IV, by the grace of God, King of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland, defender of the faith, died in Windsor Castle. Ooh. Princess Victoria is now queen. Cool. As you can see here, we have a movement that's calling for the enactment of the freedom of the womb. So people want to progressively get rid of slavery. Understandable. In case we just finished Malthusian Thought, let's see what else do I want to go for. Maybe basic chemistry might be something good to go for. So let's go for that. And that'll be researched in 1840. Is there anything else that's cheaper to research, perhaps? We could start research on introspectionism. So as you guys can see here, we're gonna finish these texts, this tech, in 1840, which is about 3 months into when we can research idealism. And you want to get philosophy texts as soon as humanly possible, whenever possible. One of the things that you can do with Victoria 2 is you can actually store research points. You can actually build up research points in anticipation of researching a certain tech. Perhaps we want to do that. But since we already started another research, I guess we can't. So, because I'm pretty sure you can't cancel this research. I'm almost positive you cannot. Yeah. You can start a research, but you can't stop it. So, we'll be researching idealism when it's unlocked. See, Uruguay wants an alliance. We could do that, but I don't really see the benefit in it. So we're gonna go decline. You gotta be careful with alliances. Let's take a look real fast. Let's right click on our country. Is there any country that's influencing us? It looks like the British. The British have some influence with our country. Interesting. The Sabinata. Francisco Sabino, a military officer, launched a radical revolt in Bahia, calling for the end of slavery and a redistribution of land. Ooh. We're gonna get some militancy. Interesting. Let's keep an eye and see if these reactionaries perhaps want to rise up in a revolution. So we have some Jacobins, but they're not really necessarily going to rise up in revolution. There are some reactionaries, though, about 80,000. They're getting quite a bit of power. These Jacobins just increased exponentially in size. Let's go and raise military maintenance. So the Jacobin faction is now 500,000 strong. It's quite a bit. Let's take a look real fast. What issues are important to the people? So a lot of people are pissed off that slavery is allowed, and that a lot of people want a freedom of the womb law. A lot of voters, however, are concerned with our jingoism and our moralism policy. Some voters are concerned with slavery as well. Slavery seems to be something on people's minds. So we should keep an eye on wherever there's unrest. We have a little bit of unrest here in the north. We have a lot of unrest here in the south. Looks like one of our good generals died, unfortunately. Unless he's in command of this army. Oh no, here he is, yeah. Just for good measure, let's keep troops over here for a while. As far as I know, actually keeping troops in provinces that have unrest does not actually lower unrest at all, as far as I know. Almost positive that it doesn't actually. Yeah, I don't think so. Nope. It must be just because of the nationalist agitation modifiers that people are angry. So, we'll just keep an eye and see what people do. Looks like Peru is allied with Venezuela. It looks like the Peru-Bolivian Confederation has collapsed. So, I don't want an alliance with Peru, though. I really don't. No, no, no. So militancy is rising, but it's not rising as quickly as it was before. We are spending a lot of money on the military as well as on our education. I don't want to lower military spending. Perhaps we could put a mild tariff, maybe 25%, see if that makes us a little bit of money. Because this is expensive. Okay, just a little tariff. The tariff will likely piss people off, but you never know. Let's just keep an eye on all the rebel factions. Reactionaries are usually pretty easy to defeat. Jacobins, though, Jacobins can be kind of difficult because they're so large. A lot of people are easily swayed by Republican rebel movements, so we just need to keep an eye on these guys. We have 3 brigades of reactionaries ready to rise up. We may actually want to keep a garrison in Rio de Janeiro. Basically, any rebel faction that occupies your capital will win. So, defending your capital is one of the most important things to do when you are a country, especially when you have a lot of revolts. As long as you defend your capital, you're honestly fine for the most part. Okay. Let's take a look here. Paraguay, how many people do you have? 252,000. It's actually quite a bit. And Uruguay, he's got some truce with Argentine Confederation and Entre Rios. Interesting. Okay. So far, bureaucracy is well on its way to being well funded. We're almost at 100% state administrative efficiency in Bahia. Once we are there, we will transfer these bureaucrats somewhere else, or transfer the National Foci to somewhere else for some better bureaucrats. Literacy is rising slowly but surely, definitely not at the speed at which we need it to rise, though. But before we can, increase our military spending, our educational spending, we need to have some bureaucrats making us some money. Okay. All right. Slowly but surely, we will progress in the world. Okay, so we have an election. By the way, this here, every year, your upper house is reorganized a little bit. It reflects the state of your country usually, or it, to be more precise, it reflects the laws that you have for your political reforms. So right now, the upper house is appointed. Landowners or capitalists have been assigned the seats in the upper house by the leader of the country. So basically, your upper house is only really the rich. So these are our voters, mostly rich people, but these are our people. So a lot more liberals in our people than there are in our voters, you know. So right now, our upper house is just slightly more liberal, a little less conservative, a little more reactionary. Now we have an election. So elections allow you to influence the kind of the direction of both your people and your voters. People will either get pissed about certain policies or they'll like certain policies, all the sorts of stuff. So the future of the economy. The election debates in the Empire of Brazil have been going on for a few days now, and the issues that seems to be determining one for the outcome of the election is perhaps unsurprisingly the economy. So the Partido Liberal and the Partido Conservador support interventionism, and the Partido Restaurador supports state capitalism. Most of our people are conservative, so I think decisive arguments for interventionism would be a good idea. You gotta be careful though, because both the liberals and conservatives support interventionism, so you never know which party might actually end up getting elected. At least for now, the electorate vote is decisively conservative. Over the course of the game, that may change though. So we finished up our introspectionism research. We get reinforcement and regular experience. Let's go over here and go for our idealism so we can get our research points. Plus 50%. We also get prestige from that. Neo-Kantian, Hegelian, idealism, and then we get proto-existentialism. And this will be done in 1844. Wow, 4 years to research that tech. That is unfortunate. It looks like we're almost at about 100% administrative efficiency for Bahia. Let's go and move the bureaucrats somewhere else. We move them to Minas Gerais, or Gerais, I guess we say, Minas Gerais, which is at 48% administrative efficiency. Our tax collection is going to improve a little bit. Hopefully one of these days we can start encouraging some intellectuals. Let's see, Brazilian trade policy. The conservative reactionary party support protectionism. Liberals support free trade. I'm going to say let's go for protectionism. We don't actually have any tariffs. Well, we do some tariffs right now. We don't necessarily need the tariffs explicitly for now. But you want to have some flexibility with your tariffs and things. If you have to, have tariffs for some reason, you can do that. And if you want to get rid of them, you can do that. So usually I find protectionism is one of the best policies. Free trade is, it's not bad, but there's a Weavers Uprising in Prussia. We will not take any alliances, at least for now. We're not going to have any alliances with anybody. If anything, we might actually ally with Chile, of all people. A coalition of conservatives and reactionaries are now the ruling party. Cool. Wow, the liberals only got 15% of the vote. That's unfortunate. Okay. Let's check out our unrest. So we still have a lot of unrest in a lot of places in the country. We have a lot of reactionaries that are trying to pop up here. Perhaps we want maybe a few more soldiers. Let's grab maybe one more artillery. Let's go over here to Santos. Well, it's in quite a bit of money because we're producing artillery. We have to import the goods from abroad, bring them over here to Brazil. I wish I could reduce the military spending so we'd be making some money. We could attack a country like Paraguay or Uruguay. Uruguay would actually be pretty easy to attack. The thing is you get a lot of infamy for conquering a nation. And infamy makes people more conscious as well as more upset. So, whew. There's those reactionaries we were waiting for. Let's see if they rose up anywhere else. Not that I see. Now, you gotta be kind of careful, actually. I don't know how many of you guys know this, but your soldiers can actually join rebel factions, and so there always is the possibility that if some sort of rebel faction rises up, your soldiers may actually take their weapons and join the rebels. Usually, if your soldiers are well paid, they won't join rebel factions. They will obey your orders. But say if your military spending is low, that may not always be the case. So you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. So let's kill these rebels real fast. Excellent. And usually once you destroy a rebel faction after it's risen up, it may just disappear. They may be discouraged from rising up anymore. So that could be exactly what's happening with the Reactionaries. Looks like they are, yeah, they're getting a little less support now. They may just disappear. They may just disappear. You never know. Let's keep some troops in Rio de Janeiro just in case. Looks like Rio de Janeiro is just about at 100% administrative efficiency, so let's move our national foci somewhere else. Nordeste. Let's try that. Let's see, Bolivia. So Bolivia is a presidential dictatorship, as is Peru. Chile is still a republic. Argentina is a dictatorship. Looks like the FRCA did not survive. Mostly dictatorships out here. Interesting. Mexico's still a dictatorship. Or no, Mexico's a democracy now. And the United States is a republic as well. I don't really want an alliance with Bolivia either. Nope. Alright. So we are well on our way. We are well on our way to thrusting the Empire of Brazil into the world. But there's a lot of waiting around to do. There's a lot of things that still need to be done before we can become an industrial power, a great power, things like that. We need to make more money for one thing. Hopefully we can decrease these tariffs a little bit. Hopefully we can see... So there's a lot of Jacobins around. We're not necessarily seeing any more nationalists, though. We actually do have some reactionaries around the place. But it looks like, for the most part, a lot of these nationalist sentiments have gone away, which is good. Which is very, very good. So perhaps we can decrease our tariffs. I'm not sure if these reactionaries will really rise up anymore. So for now, let's lower the military spending. Let's try and lower the tariffs as well, because we don't really want to tariff our people too much. Let's try and save some money. Militancy is decreasing a bit, not very quickly, but it does go down. For the most part, we're fairly prosperous, and the tariffs, with not as much tariffs going on, people will be able to buy their goods a little more easily. Yeah, militancy is increasing just a smidge. Consciousness is also going down. Our slave population has grown quite a bit. It was at 490,000 a few years ago. Now it's at 560,000. It's still pretty incredible that our slave population is one of the single largest workforces in our entire nation. That is no small feat. Administrative efficiency slowly but surely is increasing. Now we're generating some money, so we might be able to work on a few naval bases. Let's come over here and let's build some naval bases. Okay. As we get more and more money, we can build more structures. Things like forts, railways, all sorts of good stuff. All sorts of good stuff. Uruguay still desires an alliance. There's the Treaty of Nanjing after the Opium Wars. Let's take a quick look around the world, see what's going on, for instance, in Europe. It looks like Egypt is still a subject of the Ottoman Empire. They must have lost the Oriental Crisis. Treaty of Nanjing just occurred. Here's Guangdong. Guangdong clique. Interesting. Okay. I'm very curious indeed. This idealism is taking a little while to research, which is to be expected, because it is a pretty important tech, but it also does cost a lot of research points. So I kind of figured that it would, which is okay. Which is okay, because if you play your cards right as far as getting your bureaucrats, getting your clergy and stuff like that, you can catch up on technology very quickly. So Chile's a secondary power, actually. He's pretty strong. So Chile wants an alliance. Chile doesn't have any allies. I wouldn't mind taking an alliance with him. The thing is he's hostile probably towards both. Well, he's actually okay, neutral with Argentina. He is hostile towards Bolivia. Bolivia could definitely want something to do with Chile. So we could see like a war down here, you know, and I don't necessarily have an interest in getting myself involved with all these countries. Like, I don't really care about Chile, you know, like his interest is not my interest. So you want to be careful about embroiling yourself with foreign nations and alliances. Looks like migrations have slowed down a little bit. A lot of people are still leaving Austria. Slowly but surely, more bureaucrats are coming along. We're making some decent money, I guess. Uh-oh. Got an outbreak of cholera. We're going to quarantine the province. So now a lot of people will die because of the cholera epidemic. Cholera is just terrible. Absolutely horrible. Let's build some more naval bases up here. Alright. Let's see, have we given out any loans to anybody? A little bit to Venezuela, Portugal, and Colombia. Funny. Very interesting. So far, though, I would say things are going very well. Literacy is slowly but surely increasing. I just want our administrative efficiency to be looking good, and then we can get more clergy. All right. Let's see. How are these royal factions looking? The Reactionaries probably won't rise up. The Jacobins are fairly large, though. People want voting reform. Interesting. There's a few pretty unique decisions out there. Okay. So we got some research points. Let's go and go for... Let's not worry about any culture text, at least for now. I'm thinking let's go for this freedom of trade real fast. We should get that in about a year or so. So let's go for that. Still working on administrative efficiency. It's progressing slowly, but it is progressing. Let's take a look at our culture. Let's see. So there looks to be a little bit of assimilation over here. People are moving around, assimilating into our culture. We have the Afro-Brazilian culture over here, and it looks like it's still staying pretty strong. Let's see, Brazilian schools. Assimilation efforts in Amazonian areas and territories are progressing slower than they should reasonably have to. Okay. So we can enforce a discriminatory school system to increase the assimilation rate of Amazonians into the Brazilian culture, or forget about it. I'm going to say let's go ahead and increase assimilation. Yeah, because we want people to be a part of our primary culture. It's essential. It's absolutely essential. I wouldn't mind embracing these cultures either, but we don't have a decision for that at the moment, so. Whoa. Let's see. The Congress of Paraguay formulated and declared a unilateral declaration of independence from the Argentine Confederation. While the provinces long held self-rule, they were nominally part of Argentina. I will be right back. Okay, we are back. So Paraguay has just taken over more land, and they may have some tensions with Argentina. We can either recognize Paraguay's independence from Argentina, or we can refuse. Considering that we have cores on Paraguayan territory, I'm going to say we're going to go ahead and refuse. Just because. All right. Let's see. This is the East India Company over here. Okay. So, yeah, things are progressing very nicely, I would say. Making some money. Militant's a little high. It's not too bad, though. It's nothing to be worried about. We got some Hegelian idealism, which is cool. We got another election. Let's see. A soldier's stomach. So this is about the military. So the conservatives, reactionaries support jingoism. The liberals support pro-military. I guess we can go and just support pro-military. That's fine. Let's take a look. The electorate is still becoming a little bit liberal, actually. More and more liberal than before. We've actually lost quite a bit of conservatives in just the last couple of years. That's okay, though. That is to be expected. Let's see here. Citizenship policy debate in the Empire of Brazil. We'll go ahead and go for limited citizenship because that's the Conservative Party's stance. That'll hopefully entice people to stay conservative a bit. Now, canteen idealism. That's good. Let's go and take a look. Since we're about at 100% for these states, let's go and go a little bit farther down the list for some of these states. Once we get to maybe about here, we might not need as much administrative efficiency. I mean, we're making pretty decent money as it is. Okay, looks like the conservatives still won decisively. Yeah, Chile still wants an alliance. Let's see. Any other migrations? A little bit to the US. Not as much, though. Not as much during the 1840s. Interesting. All right. I think maybe what we will do... I'm wondering if we can afford to boost our administrative spending to 100% and start working on clergy instead of on bureaucrats. Let's see. Bolivia looks like is reformed a little bit. It's actually a republic now. It's no longer a dictatorship, which is very interesting. All right. Let's go for the early classical theory. Let's do that. And we don't have any capitalists in the country, I don't believe. At least not yet. Let's see. There's an Afro-Brazilian uprising. We could fight them here and we lose some of the population. Or we can just disperse them so they can't rise up. Let's go and disperse them for now, I think. I don't really want to necessarily choose any options that leads to people dying, because we do need our population. So you don't just want to kill people, you know. It's not good for your country. Not good for your country. Our next research points tech is in 1860. That's empiricism. Okay. We'll go for some industrial techs and some army techs after this, and then we'll come back for some culture techs. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break here. It is the 1st of December, 1845. We are well on our way to increasing our literacy. We're making some money right now. Hopefully I can stop having to encourage bureaucrats. Maybe we can start focusing on some clergy because we have a lot of literacy to catch up on. So I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching as always. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. I'll see you guys very soon. Thanks so much.